Embrace HITMAT. Embrace its academic and professional reputation that has trained over 15,000 professionals in 10 years. Embrace HITMAT's numerous professional programs from HND to BTech, BSc, and MBA in the schools of Business and Management Sciences, Engineering and Technology, and the School of Transport and Logistics. Embrace HITMAT's professionalism, excellence, and consistency with solid mentorship from the University of Bamenda and the University of Boya. Embrace HITMAT's skills, development, expertise, and career orientation via workshops and academic field trips. Be part of the HITMAT family. Visit our Boya campus at Checkpoint Moliko and Douala campus at Carrefour Yoro, Jos, Bonamusali. Contact 683-70-1720. The Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, the University Institute for Professionals.
Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to Prime Hour on My Media Prime. This evening, we are going to be revisiting the kidnap of divisional delegates in Ndian Division who are still under the captivity of separatist activists out there in Ndian Division. We are questioning what the crimes are for their arrest and no, not arrest, for their kidnappings and following messages or circulated audios purporting to the fact that they might be killed in any time soon. We also are going to be asking the question as to why, with so much energy in Cameroon, so much water sources, Cameroon is yet to fully enjoy these resources with the constant water and power outage across our villages and our cities. We are discussing this with our panelists. Two of them are already in the studio. Apostle Ambe Valentine Gua is in the house with us. He is our consultant. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Salio. Good evening, my co-panelists in the room. Good evening, Cameroonians and viewers of Prime Hour. It's been a very wonderful day since morning. I had a very nice time, and I'm here today again to educate Cameroonians.
Okay, we are also in the company of Dium Emmanuel. He is a member of civil society. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo, and good evening to the million viewers of My Media Prime. A special one to the people of Ndian Division who at this moment are really going through a turbulent moment. I think that by the end of this evening, what I will like to tell them is only that tough people last, but tough times never last. So they should stay in prayer.
They should be praying for the release of their divisional officers. One of them was killed. The divisional delegate for economic planning and regional development was decapitated by those who took them hostage. We will start with you. We are going to be expecting the arrival of a representative of the CPDM and Professor Mark Anthony, who should be on their way to our studios out here at Fengudon Koto, located after Bonamusadi in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital. I'll start with you, Apostle Ambi Valentine Ngwa. Why should people be kidnapped for doing their job? Is there any reason that would justify these kidnaps?
Well, there is no reason to justify the kidnaps, but there are many reasons why things are the way they are, considering the prevailing circumstance we have on ground. Kidnap is illegal, kidnap is condemnable, kidnap is not accepted by the law, it's not accepted by custom, not accepted by any strata or quarters in life. But the truth is, we are going through something right now that has caused the kidnap. The kidnap is an outcome of a problem. The kidnap is the effect of what is happening. The kidnap is the manifestation of something that is stronger than the kidnap. We condemn, and I sit here to condemn completely today, the kidnap of the 6 government delegates in Ndian Division, because the individuals in question, I do not think they have a problem with whoever kidnapped them. And I'm very certain that when people are assigned to work, we should give them the opportunity to work. They did not force themselves to be appointed and be given the opportunity to serve their country. The truth is, we are in a situation whereby it's very frustrating that the innocent persons are the ones who are in question. I am very sure that the challenge the government have with the separatists is definitely a challenge that has to face the military and those who are carrying guns. When civilians, I will call them civilians, like government delegates, are arrested, kidnapped and taken, and one of them is killed, I do not appreciate the idea. First and foremost, what is the crime of these people in question? How does their kidnap benefit the revolution? How does killing them effectualize your dream? How does, because we have to judge on both sides, how does the blood of these people benefit you in achieving what you are looking for? Because if you begin to lose focus on what you are in need of and begins to derail, to challenge or take control over things that are not part of your agenda, we call that a loss of vision. I do not see how the kidnap of government delegates in the Ndian division will help to solve the Anglophone crisis. It is true there is a crisis. It is true some poor are marginalized. It is true others feel cheated. But the measure with which we use also to solve this problem can also bring us more problems. To take note is that most of those divisional delegates are people from our own side. There are people who are coming from our own regions. Now we are killing ourselves. And how does that benefit the revolution? How does that facilitate the achievement of your independence? How does that grant you what you are looking for? These are the questions we are supposed to ask before we take any action. I'm sure if we are sincere within us, the blood of those innocent persons who are offering services to the same masses in that community which we belong, I am sure those delegates are rendering services to our own people that we claim to be protecting. I am very, very disappointed when I hear that such errors are committed when we are in pursuit of something bigger than these minor activities. So I want to call on my brothers and sisters, and wherever they are, should reconsider their decision and think of the benefits and think of how this thing they are doing can propel, activate or push their dream to manifestation. Because the truth is, if killing persons were to solve these problems, we have had so many persons killed on both sides, and until date the problem is not still solved. So why should we keep on shedding innocent blood when we think that we could use other methods and measures to solve the problem? These divisional delegates to me are very innocent and should not be used as a bait or a sacrifice for our own personal self-aggrandizement.
Okay. Emmanuel, what has been your appraisal of their kidnap this far? Do you think they merit what they are going through?
Mr. Leo, I must be honest to tell you that these people who in no way do not deserve what they are going through. I think any normal
let me come back to you. Can we take a short break? Okay, yeah,
yes, Mr. Leo, I was saying that my heart really bleeds for these people because they don't deserve, for whatsoever reason, to have been kidnapped in the first place. And I'm really praying, like Apostle said a while ago, that these people keeping the delegates should reconsider their stance and set these people free. When we were growing up, we used to be taught in literature that when two elephants are fighting, it is the grass that suffers. But in this case, I think it is the grass and the grass that is fighting. I think this evening I have to give a special greeting to our military forces and a special greeting to the Amber Boys, because all of them are Cameroonians. What divides them is what the elephant has plunged them into, and the two grasses are fighting together while the elephant is resting. I want to think that if the president of Cameroon, Mr. Biya, took the pens to declare war on the secessionists and the terrorists, it is also time for him now to take the pens to declare a ceasefire. The lives we have lost are more than what we can imagine, and these lives are irreparable. I think we have only three things left with Mr. Liu. Call it negotiation, call it dialogue, call it a ceasefire. They are all less costly than the war going on, because the money factored into this war is money that, if we could use our natural voices, voices of sound reasoning, they could be building schools, building roads, because just to take care of the military personnel in Northwest, I have a brother who is a military man, to take care of them a day, their patrol, their deployment on the field is less costly, is more costly. And just to take them there, even the military personnel themselves, they are not free. So I want to think that Mr. Biya, who is the president, should take the same pens today, listen to the cry of the Cameroonians, accept that for all have sinned and fallen short the glory of God, and then declare a ceasefire. The blood is too much. In either side, be it the side of the military, be it the side of the Amber Boys. That's why I choose to greet the both sides today. And I'm telling the both sides that you people have become the scapegoat. When the elephants are fighting, the grass should suffer. But in this case, the grasses are the ones that are fighting and suffering. The two belligerents need to come to reason and reconsider their stance. Otherwise, those who are in their comfortable offices in Yaoundé, who call themselves the leaders of Cameroon, I don't think they have the good insight of what these people are going through in Northwest. You need to go to Babaju, Mr. Liu. See these military men when the rain is falling. You see some of them falling in mud, trying to protect. And on the other side, you see the Amber Boys running in and out of the bushes. All these people are Cameroonians. It is time that we think about reconciliation and then put things on the rail, Mr. Liu. That's my stand. But before I give back the microphone to you, these delegates do not deserve to be treated as such, because they are not the ones who caused the situation to be where it is.
Okay, we are also in the company of Valérie Mandingue. He is representing the CPDM on this platform. Valérie, bonsoir et bienvenue. Et votre première appréciation des délégués départementaux qui ont été enlevés dans le département de Ndian.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Léonard.
Oui.
Bonsoir à l'ensemble du panel. C'est un plaisir renouvelé pour le Rassemblement démocratique du peuple camerounais de répondre présent à l'ensemble des programmes de votre chaîne qui est devenue une institution dans le paysage médiatique au Cameroun. C'est un plaisir pour moi d'être ici et c'est un plaisir aussi de dire un bonsoir particulier à l'ensemble des populations de Mokoudangue qui vous suivent beaucoup et qui sont vraiment scotchés au programme de cette chaîne. Ce que je voudrais dire d'emblée, c'est que je pense que les téléspectateurs se sont fait une idée de l'avis général de ceux qui m'ont précédé. Et je pense qu'un temps soit peu, lorsque nous sommes face à des thématiques aussi poignantes, aussi douloureuses, nous devons d'abord essayer d'avoir un temps d'arrêt pour tous ceux qui ont perdu la vie dans cette déclaration de guerre qui a été faite au Cameroun depuis le 22 septembre 2017, depuis le Nigeria, par un seul homme qui s'appelle Sisiku Ayuk Tabe. C'est bien cet homme qui jusqu'aujourd'hui a perturbé de façon considérable la paix et la paisibilité des populations dans notre pays. Lorsque j'écoute les panélistes qui étaient ici avant, qui ont parlé avant moi, je suis un peu outré et je suis un peu choqué. Je voudrais demander, Monsieur Léonard, quel est le lien que vous pouvez faire entre le séparatisme et la décapitation de Florence Ayafor? Je voudrais demander ici à ceux qui m'ont précédé, quel est le lien qu'ils peuvent faire entre le séparatisme et la décapitation?
Mais c'est ce qu'ils ont dit, hein.
Et la
Vous
décapitation.
êtes en train de dire exactement ce qu'ils ont dit.
Oui, je suis en train de le dire, mais en d'autres mots. Pour la simple raison que lorsque le sous-préfet de Batibo, un 9 février, c'est-à-dire 2 jours avant le 11 février de 2018, est enlevé jusqu'aujourd'hui avec le délégué départemental des affaires sociales, nous devons comprendre que nous n'étions plus, et je fais partie, vous le savez, à l'époque, je faisais partie des premiers à dire que faisons très attention. Nous ne sommes pas face à un mouvement de séparatisme. Nous sommes face à un mouvement qui se rapproche beaucoup plus du terrorisme. Il ne faut plus se cacher. Et je me réjouis du discours que le chef de l'État a tenu le 31 décembre 2020, où il rappelait la fermeté que l'État aura par tous les moyens à ramener la paix dans toutes les régions de ce pays. C'est donc l'occasion pour nous, lorsque nous sommes autour de ce type de plateforme, lorsque nous sommes autour de ce type de débat et de conciliabule, de pouvoir dire à nos frères et à nos sœurs, pour ceux qui peuvent encore, je le dis pour ceux qui peuvent encore revenir à la raison, parce que aujourd'hui, les Camerounais ne sont plus dupes. Ce n'est plus une affaire de quelques Camerounais qui sont fâchés. Monsieur Léonard, lorsque vous êtes fâché, vous n'étranglez pas votre maman. Lorsque vous êtes fâché, vous ne décapitez pas votre sœur. Ça veut dire que vos objectifs sont ailleurs. Ils ne sont pas dans le plan, entre guillemets, politique qui est déguisé et qui est mis en avant, alors que derrière, il s'agit bien d'une atteinte à l'intégrité territoriale de la nation camerounaise. Et je me réjouis que le panéliste avant moi ait formulé un vœu à l'endroit du chef de l'État. Mais je veux aussi dire que conformément à la constitution du Cameroun que nous connaissons tous, le chef de l'État n'a pas qualité. Il a mis les bases d'un dialogue qui se poursuit. Le dialogue ne s'est pas arrêté aux assises de Yaoundé. Jusqu'aujourd'hui, le chef de l'État continue à tendre la main. Le chef de l'État a mis sur la place une offre de paix. L'offre de paix est laquelle vous déposez les armes et vous êtes réinsérés. Quant à ceux qui continuent par des actes aussi graves à perturber non seulement la tranquillité des populations, la quiétude des populations et attaquer l'État dans ses fondamentaux, la décapitation du délégué du Minipat est une attaque frontale à l'État. Je ne veux pas parler de la déléguée de la communication de la Mémé, que vous connaissez, qui avait aussi perdu la vie
Momo,
voilà, qui avait aussi perdu, voilà, elle est votre, comme on dit, votre classe dans l'armée, qui a perdu la vie dans un attentat lâche. Et aujourd'hui, nous ne pouvons plus venir faire de la fine bouche dans un état de droit, celui que nous consolidons et celui pour qui nous nous battons au quotidien. Il n'y a qu'une seule entité dans un état qui a la qualité et la légitimité de tenir les armes, c'est l'armée. À partir du moment où vous tenez les armes pour exprimer, entre guillemets, un problème politique et dont on voit aujourd'hui les ramifications depuis les pays occidentaux, qui n'est plus politique, il s'agit clairement du dépiècement de l'État du Cameroun. Et c'est pourquoi moi je continue à me réjouir d'une chose. Je ne sais pas si vous avez lu l'actualité, il y a un avocat camerounais aux États-Unis, Emmanuel Salai, qui aujourd'hui a réussi à obtenir de l'État fédéral américain que 63 Camerounais qui sont concernés par le financement, par la propagande terroriste amazonienne, soient traduits devant les cours fédérales. Ça nous démontre que l'appel que le chef de l'État a lancé le 10 septembre 2019 aux États dits amis, d'aider le Cameroun à la résorption de ce problème sécuritaire. Parce que nous sommes face à un problème sécuritaire. Aujourd'hui, après que nous ayons eu 3 Camerounais qui a été officiellement inculpé, ça veut dire que le travail diplomatique, parce qu'il y a un travail diplomatique de fond à mener, on ne peut pas être ami d'un État et laisser dans cet État-là laisser que des germes du terrorisme continuent à se perpétuer et à faire couler du sang, comme les familles sont endeuillées jusqu'à présent.
Professor Mark Anthony, you also have been following up what's happening out there in Ndian Division. The question I've asked is the killing of the Divisional Delegate of Economic Planning and Regional Development. Was there any need for that?
Thank you, Leo, and good evening to all the panelists and to the million viewers of my media Prime, and precisely Prime R. Leo, it has not been an easy moment actually taking into consideration the number of delegates that were kidnapped. Not only kidnapped, one died along the way. We don't know how he died. That's something that's very terrible. It is shameful how a people rose up in the name of fighting a cause for a people and then turn around, kill the same people whom they said they were fighting for. It is very, very disastrous, and it's something that nobody, I'm not only talking of Cameroonian, wheresoever you find yourself, you should not be able to condole with such a situation, irrespective of what. Like my other panelist said, it is not something that at this particular moment we should be talking about the ills and goods of this or that. We are not here. I'm not practically here to support anybody, because if you look, the other day I saw some pictures of military people who were massacred. Not only massacred, I've seen Amber boys where they were killed, and I've seen civilians who are the most exposed, killed. So the question is, should we persist with strength, show of manpower? We are strong enough and many people should die? That's something that we should not do. In a time like this, it is a period where I think not only the Cameroon government should be looking for solutions, I think even those who are sitting in the bushes and those who are out of the country, who are behind these particular activities, they should do everything possible to go beyond this dimension of power demonstration and struggle to save the lives of more persons whom we are seeing dying. Because I'm talking like this, Mr. Leo, we do not know what is happening right now. There are others, you might hear that tomorrow died. So it is necessary that practical steps should be taken in order to deal with this issue and solve it once and for all. This is 4 years. We are still talking about the head of state has provided the opportunity for people to come out. No, that's not what we expect. I believe that leadership means that at times you must get to a place where you say, okay, for the sake of my people should come, let's talk. I don't care. Those people sitting out there, I don't believe that they are going to ever get what they are seeking for, because they have, in fact, even if it was a good cause, they destroyed it. Not only destroying it, because they turned against the same people whom they stood that they were fighting for. That was the beginning of their destruction. And so, it is time for them to humble themselves and try to not only ask, because some people will say that it is only the government that can solve the problem, it's only the government that needs to call for dialogue. I believe that those who are leading this particular crisis and cause, they have the capacity to call for a dialogue, even if it means that they need to beg for it. Let them do it. We need to solve the problem. We need to protect lives. You know, when we talk, some people think and say their own opinions concerning us, but it is very important that people should know that the life of a human being is very sacred, and if you have that authority to take a life, it means you have become a god over somebody, and that power I don't think has been given to any. So we should be able to consecrate and preserve the sacredness of life and do everything possible to make sure that our children should live in a peaceful and not an enduring environment, a loving environment. This is not only the responsibility of the government, it's a responsibility of every Cameroonian. It's a responsibility of us who are talking presently and those who are even on the ground. Because like you saw in other places, some people stepped out and decided to hold the Amber Boys for committing some crimes. The same way we talk against the acts of the military, we should not go without talking against the acts of these Amber Boys. You can't kill people whom you are fighting for. It is terrible and it is wrong. We should not in any way support that. So I think that they should stop that.
Okay, Apostle Ambi Vantengwa, we have listened to an audio circulating on social media where someone is communicating with the person who is having the remaining delegates, and is saying that they should not waste time. If possible, they should waste them because they may delay their movement. How do we even conceive that we are thinking of taking lives of people who are breadwinners in their families? What could be the crime? And even if they had committed any crime, do they need to die?
The question we should be asking is, how does killing those delegates fulfill their dream? Because everything that is being done is to achieve a purpose. If I have to travel to Yaoundé and killing you will not take me to Yaoundé, why should I add you part of my assignment? Killing the delegates does not give you independence. Instead, it increases the tension against you. They used to say, wise men contest with knowledge. It takes only fools to contest with weapons. What we have seen as a show of display this day is a display of the might of what the Ambers have and the might of what the military has. For how long shall we keep on displaying sophisticated weapons? If the weapons are sophisticated and the brains are not sophisticated, that is when human life has no meaning. When minds have value, weapons will lose their potency. But when weapons overwrite the use of the mind, it means the human mind that's supposed to direct the weapon is being directed by the weapon now. We look up, we see so many people demonstrating the level of weapons, how armed they are right now, both from the military camp and both from the separatists. Killing these people, my question, my 1 million man question is still this: how does it benefit you to achieve what you are looking for? Recently, the Spanish government freed Catalonian separatists.
Leader, yeah.
Yes, that's a means of dialogue. That's a means of dialogue. I think it is going to be very difficult for us if we keep on playing pranks when practical things are manifesting on ground. Human beings are dying every day. These delegates are people who have served the region of Southwest, and this supposed region we want to take as an independent sector of the country. Their labor, their talent, their energy invested in that region, is their reward death? Number two, how does killing them bring the Yaoundé regime on its knees? How does killing them facilitate dialogue on a table? More important persons have been killed in the past. A general has been killed, a DO has been killed, persons also in the north and the south have been killed. Innocent children were killed equally in Gabu, and others were killed in Kumba. I am sure if we are talking about personalities that have been killed, that were supposed to have been used as a stepping stone for peace to come, more important persons have died as compared to these government delegates. So if those people who died at first, their bloodshed, their position in the society, their recognition, both from the tender children who are ignorant, the vulnerable women, the government officials, the reputable names we know in the society that died in the course of the problem. If all these persons that died did not bring peace, who tells you or who have told you that these government delegates, if they are killed, it will add anything or bring any betterment to the crisis? I think we should re-strategize on how to bring peace in the entire country, rather than doing the same thing that will not add any benefit to us tomorrow. I am sure when vision, Bibles, there is a common saying that say, when the purpose of a thing is lost, abuse is inevitable. What we are facing right now is an abuse of a cause that probably was right. When you start abnormally using something that was meant to benefit you, it loses its potency. We say Indian hemp is bad. It's not bad. It has been abnormally used. That's why we call it bad. That thing you call cocaine is not bad in itself. It's part of the pills you take and the anesthesia you take in the hospital. It's the way it has been used wrongly. If you have a genuine cause that you are being marginalized, you are cheated in your own country. How do you solve it? By killing innocent government delegates who don't know how to operate arms, who do not even have a problem with you? They have not disrupted you one day. They have worked in that region. They even know some of places where some of you are, and they have not hinted the military to come and attack you, yet you are arresting them. I'm asking, if you were to catch somebody in between the government delegate and the military who has caused more atrocity, face the right enemy. The right enemy you have there is the military you say kills people. So kill the military back in return. The government delegates have nothing, I mean absolutely nothing against you. Leave the government delegates.
We are not advocating for killings here. We are not advocating for killings here.
No, I'm trying to say, if we have to manage a situation whereby they will allow somebody to kill somebody in return, they should face their common enemy. The government delegates have practically nothing.
Okay. Emmanuel, now, this is really funny and also very funny because those who are kidnapping are Anglophones. Those who have been kidnapped are Anglophones. The divisional delegate who was killed is an Anglophone.
Yes, Mr. Leo, like you said, it's funny, you know. It's funny indeed. You see, when Mr. Mandenge a while ago talked about the state, I was tempted to ask him that, who makes up the state? The state is made up of its citizens. If you want to fight your citizens as a leader, you are already fighting your own state. And that is clear. So if he wants to say that the state must be protected at all costs, I say that is where he gets it wrong. You have to understand that the government is right, legally, constitutionally, to protect the territorial integrity of its nation. The Amber has their own cause to pursue. I don't oppose the government. I don't oppose the Amber. He who thinks he will carry the day should carry the day. But I think I know the truth within me. Now, one thing I want to let people understand is that as a leader, it is better to lose power while protecting lives than to lose lives while protecting power. Because when you lose power while protecting lives, you go into the annals of the history of your country and even your continent. But when you lose lives while protecting your power, you end up in whether it's CPA, as they call it, International Criminal Court, which is not honorary. You have to know that one life taken down, you as the leader, you must be accounted for. So a wise leader will rather prefer to protect their lives than to sit tight protecting his power while lives are draining every day, Mr. Leo. That's why I said a while ago that I don't know who advises our president, but I think if I were to have my right as a citizen to give him an advice, I will tell him that in the same Simalen airport where you declared war against terrorists and secessionists, if it is possible, go back to that Simalen airport, declare a ceasefire. Talking with our mouths is less costly than the arms, because these arms are costing the lives of our military. What happens if after the fight between the so-called Amber and the military of the state military comes to an end and we are invaded by a foreign nation, where shall we take this military manpower to protect the territorial integrity? I think our leaders in Yaoundé need to put on their thinking caps. They should not only focus on their seat. They should not only focus on their positions in power. They should think about what the common man is going through. Yes, it is true that our country is going through a lot of problems. It is true that the CPTM regime in place has failed Cameroon woefully. That one is, there's no gainsay about it. But then, if they have failed us, I think collective intelligence can take out a country from the hands of a dictatorial regime rather than arms. I repeat, collective intelligence is more of portfolio to take out a country from the hands of a dictator more than the arms. Because arms only kill, arms don't talk. But our voices with our mouth, they talk, they construct, they can take the country out of the quagmire. So, Mr. Liu, I want to tell you that, honestly speaking, these people are paying a price of a stubborn government in Yaoundé, these delegates. They are paying a price of a government that has given a deaf ear. They don't want to talk with the clergy. They don't want to talk with the civil society. They don't want to talk with the opposition to find a common ground to end this bloodshed in Northwest and Southwest. And so it's a pity. I think in such programs like today, you have the power, you could contact some of these people so that they fix their eyes into your program and then pick out what is essential. Because I want to give you by the microphone by telling you that in this war, in this dirty war, it's a dirty war. Because who is fighting? Amba is Cameroon. The military is Cameroon. They have not been invaded by a foreign country. So at the end of the day, nobody wins the war. Amba is not winning. The military is not winning. Okay. So where is the state that you say it is the state to be protected? No. The state is the citizen. And the state have been losing its citizens through a senseless war that could be kept just by the word of mouth.
Okay, you decided not to answer my question. Yes, Valérie, c'est aussi, ça fait trop mal que c'est en tout cela, ce sont des Camerounais qui tombent. Hein. Il est aussi bien vrai que beaucoup de gens se demandent pourquoi le gouvernement n'a pas dit un mot sur ce qui se passe officiellement.
Écoutez, monsieur Léonard, je suis un peu confus. Je suis un peu confus quand je partage un plateau aussi poignant, aussi fort que le vôtre, sur un sujet aussi délicat qui a décimé la vie des centaines de milliers de Camerounais, de millions de Camerounais. Je me demande si lorsque M. Diwoum, lorsqu'il prend la parole, s'il mesure la souffrance dans laquelle les populations qui ont dû quitter leur espace de vie pour venir seulement ici à Bonabéry souffrir à la belle étoile.
Bien sûr.
S'il mesure la souffrance que les Camerounais ont eue à quitter leur lieu de prédilection pour traverser la frontière, aller au Nigeria, je me demande encore, je me pose la question, et les téléspectateurs qui nous suivent comprennent très bien pourquoi il a tout fait dans sa précédente prise de parole, mais il n'a pas répondu à votre question. Parce qu'il est difficile, il est intenable, M. Léonard, de trouver aujourd'hui des positions équilibristes. Ce qu'il fait, c'est de l'équilibrisme. C'est-à-dire qu'il essaie de nous expliquer que, oui, l'État, ce n'est pas que la force, l'État, c'est le dialogue, la conciliation, mais il faut aussi comprendre les Amba. Parce que les Amba aussi, de leur côté, sont aussi en train de... Qu'est-ce qu'il y a à revendiquer, M. Diwoum, lorsque des Camerounais meurent? Qu'est-ce que vous trouvez comme raison à avoir lorsque des Camerounais perdent la vie, lorsque les Camerounais sont décimés, lorsque le sang ne fait que couler? On ne peut pas avoir de position équilibriste. Il faut avoir des positions fermes et claires. Ce que nous vivons aujourd'hui, à travers le terrorisme ambazonien, n'est autre chose qu'une forme de terrorisme plus grave que ce que l'État islamique,
Boko Haram a pu montrer au monde entier. Vous ne pouvez pas être en train de filmer la décapitation des forces, des éléments de force de sécurité. Et vous venez nous expliquer sur un plateau, les Camerounais nous suivent. Vous venez quand même nous expliquer que non, vraiment, quand ils ont fini ça, à la limite, on doit leur donner des bonbons sifflets, un peu de yaourt et applaudir. Non, monsieur Dioum, un peu de sérieux. Je vous rappelle qu'il y a à peine 3 semaines aujourd'hui, c'était pas à l'appel du CPDM. Les populations sont sorties spontanément marcher. Dire non au terrorisme amazonien. Pourquoi vous ne le dites pas? Pourquoi vous ne rappelez pas sur ce plateau aussi sérieux et aussi couru dans les régions du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest qu'il y a 1 mois et demi à Bamenda 3, parce que les populations ont refusé de céder au mot d'ordre de Ghost Town dans une vente emportée, M. Léonard, ces soi-disant combattants amazoniens sont arrivés et ont assassiné froidement 5 Camerounais. Il y en a encore qui sont à l'hôpital jusqu'aujourd'hui. C'est des faits qui sont vérifiables, dont les Camerounais ne doivent plus vivre tant que le terrorisme amazonien ne va pas s'abattre comme il doit s'abattre. C'est le message que vous êtes en train de porter malheureusement. Et vous n'en êtes pas conscient. Et c'est ça le drame. Le drame, c'est que lorsqu'ils vous écoutent en brousse actuellement, ils sont convaincus d'être dans leur droit de mener cette guérilla, de mener c'est-à-dire que ce climat de terreur. Et c'est là où je suis un peu d'accord avec vous, monsieur Léonard, parce que il faudrait qu'on se comprenne. Vous savez, le terrorisme a ceci d'éclatant que vous pouvez tuer 2 personnes, assassiner 2 personnes, 3 personnes, et vous arrivez à émouvoir 100 millions de personnes à travers les réseaux sociaux, à travers une propagande, mais ce n'est que 3 personnes que vous avez tuées. Aujourd'hui, lorsque vous regardez la situation sur le terrain, lorsque vous regardez la facilité avec laquelle aujourd'hui les populations sont de plus en plus en train de communiquer avec les démembrements de l'État, vous comprenez très bien que tout ce qui est fait actuellement, ce qu'on peut appeler action d'éclat, en réalité ne sont des soubresauts que d'un aveu de faiblesse d'un mouvement qui est en train de mourir, qui réussit encore à tuer ci et là, mais qui, dans sa propension à la nuisibilité, a fortement régressé sur le terrain. Et lorsque vous êtes face à ce type de fait, vous n'avez que, comment on peut dire, vous n'avez qu'une lecture à avoir. C'est que je continue à le dire, monsieur Dioum, je continue à le dire. Lorsque nous prenons la parole sur ce type de fait, prenons la paix. Amenons tous ceux qui peuvent encore être amenés, parce qu'aujourd'hui des informations nous font comprendre que certains de ces combattants sont recrutés depuis le Nigeria. C'est-à-dire que votre histoire de Cameroun, ils n'en ont rien à foutre. Ils viennent pour un contrat. Et lorsqu'ils viennent pour un contrat, ils doivent atteindre leurs objectifs. Aujourd'hui, nous devons avoir un discours d'apaisement. Nous devons avoir un discours en disant que nous n'avons qu'un seul pays. Lorsque des régions entières, nous avons 10 régions dans ce pays, ce qui se passe au nord-ouest et au sud-ouest, surtout au sud-ouest qui est le plus impacté, c'est en train de nous renvoyer 50 ans, voire un siècle en arrière. Le temps de chercher à dire qu'on va reconstruire. Sur quelle base est-ce qu'on doit détruire des vies? Vous venez parler des Amba. Qu'est-ce que les Amba revendiquent? Les Amba ne vous revendiquent pas le fédéralisme. Les Amba ne vous revendiquent pas un État décentralisé. Leur chef, lorsqu'il a été déporté au tribunal à Sissiko Ayub Tabe, a dit que lui revendique la sécession. Donc vous ne pouvez pas venir, vous ne pouvez pas arriver sur des plateaux, devenir des porte-parole des personnes qui ne sont pas en phase avec vous. Non, je ne parle pas de mesurer. Je dis bien ceci. Lorsque vous demandez la plateforme de dialogue avec les Amba par leur chef, et par leur, vous ne pouvez pas revendiquer leur camerounité alors qu'eux se revendiquent amazoniens. Vous êtes dans un sujet. Vous faites du hors-sujet. Ils disent qu'ils ne sont pas Amba, ils ne sont pas camerounais, ils le disent. Et ils le disent sincèrement, que ce soit Ayabocho Lucas, que ce soit Eric Tato, que ce soit Tapan Ivo Tankou, que ce soit Ebenezer Akwanga et tout le reste, ils disent qu'ils sont amazoniens. Vous venez sur des plateaux de télévision et vous porte-parole des gens qui disent qu'ils ne sont plus camerounais. Et vous estimez que vous avez un discours qui peut être audible de façon à résoudre de façon pérenne et durable cette crise sécuritaire. Parce que ce que nous voyons aujourd'hui n'a rien à voir avec du séparatisme. Vous ne pouvez pas vous battre pour du séparatisme et le panéliste qui m'avait suivi dans ma présente prise de parole a dit, vous ne pouvez pas vous battre pour le séparatisme et assassiner des personnes pour qui, entre Kmer, vous êtes censé protéger. Ça veut donc dire qu'on est purement et simplement dans un discours clivant qui peut donner aujourd'hui des germes à quelque chose que juste aujourd'hui ne fait que endeuiller nos familles. Et c'est ça qui nous réunit sur ce plateau.
No, I want us to look at this phenomenon of kidnappings. We know that there is Mr. Kmer who was kidnapped, I'm sure, some months ago. He's still under amber captivity, and a host of others who are being kidnapped. Where can we trace the place of kidnappings in the overall struggle agenda? How do we understand that the people would support this agenda? Is it not rather breeding frustrations in the people and making more enemies?
I remember the particular time, Mr. Leo, I followed, I don't know whether it was Beneza Ekwanga, who was practically hitting the table and saying that some of these guys have decided to take the cost out of order by kidnapping. If they among in their own camp can see it as a wrong, then I will sitting here will see it more as a wrong. And not to condole with anybody, it is easy at times to pick a gun to fight a cause, but to carry it to the end, I mean financially, is where there is a problem. And when you see these kidnappings coming in, it is their own means to feed themselves. Because you hear that somebody has been kidnapped, you hear millions that they are asking the person's family to give. The question is, why you were engaging the fight? Do you think, for example, I was in a corner. If you ask me for millions, where do I take it from when I'm not working? It is not affecting only you is in the bush, it's affecting everybody. So when you turn and start asking the same people whom we are supposed to be protecting certain amounts of money, what do you think you are doing? So, Leo, I will be sincere in telling you that the whole idea of kidnappings came in from the direction of sponsoring the same war that was started. But I will say this and say it. I will not want to say that I am blaming only the Amber. Somebody asked a question. Who are we fighting? And why are we fighting? If you look at the situation in which we find ourselves in, people never went to Nigeria like my brother started because maybe the Amber boys pushed them to Nigeria. It was based on the violent nature at which our military approached the situation. And by virtue of that, a lot of people were moved. You know, I will talk to you like a victim. The day I was sitting in my house in the corner, and I and my wife were standing in front of the door, and a bullet hit her on the stomach. It was not the Amber, it was a military who shot. But that is not the case. I am saying that though it started with that kind of violence, it attained a point where people started running. And we have seen already that it is beyond us to deal with. If we can no more protect the people, then let us look for a peaceful solution to the problem. I believe that it is a responsibility of the government to protect citizens. The Amber boys rose up and said that they were fighting for the people, which means it was also their responsibility to protect the same people they said they were fighting for. But if we find them at this particular moment kidnapping the same people, then there is a problem with their own fight. Then it means their strategy has failed. The Cameroon government has that responsibility to maintain peace and stability. Yes, but not by killing its own people too. Because when we talk as if we are talking in favor of a particular person. Even if you find yourself in CPDM like my brother, our leadership has failed us in Cameroon.
It's not a CPDM
awfully.
debate, my dear. It's not a CPDM debate.
It has, the government of Cameroon has awfully failed in that responsibility of protecting Cameroonians. And the government of Cameroon is CPDM. And so, in this case, I might be pointing the finger to the CPDM government. I'm not talking to the CPDM members because all of them too are citizens. So let the government of Cameroon look for ways to protect its own, not to go down that road of power demonstration. The people who stood that they were fighting for separation had failed in their fight. It is in the place of the government to show a hand. Say, my people, I am here to actually keep you in peace, because I will tell you, it is shameful how we hear that more than 5 delegates were kidnapped. How did they get to the field without protection in the midst of war? I just heard the senior DO saying he was not on seat. That is not something that should have happened. Those boys, those delegates should not have been kidnapped in no way possible if they had protection. In that case, the military, my brother, I do not, when you were talking, I stayed quiet. Don't do that.
Qui permet que par le phénomène de lâcheté, on puisse kidnapper des personnes. Jamais.
You don't have monopoly of shouting.
Jamais.
You don't have monopoly of shouting. Allow me to talk. Allow me to talk. When you were talking, you want to support your government. I am not here to support your government. So don't talk to me. It is simple, brother.
No.
Allow me to go ahead and talk now, brother. So it is simple. As I have said, I will stay on that position. The Cameroon government has that responsibility alone to protect Cameroonians. And so if some Cameroonians have been kidnapped, we cannot sit on this table and blame it more on anybody than to blame it on the government. It is their responsibility to protect those delegates and those who have kidnapped delegates for the whatsoever evil cause. I think it is in their own humanity to release those people, because even though I sit on top of this platform and talking, it will be a crime for me to hear that my brother, my sister, somebody related, like those who have been kidnapped. I can do anything possible to make sure that you go down for it. And so let us not talk on this platform as if we are struggling to put blame this way or that. No. Okay. It is a situation that we should not condone it, but we should not give the government the opportunity to hold on with error.
Apostle Ambi Valentin Ngwa, is a strategy not breeding more dissenting voices in the camp of in one camp where people before now may have been supporting the cause, and maybe their uncle is part of this. Their friend is part of those that were kidnapped. Maybe their husbands, their families. How do they even come to terms with the fact that these same persons we have been supporting are now taking our breadwinners away?
The truth is, misunderstanding is in the entire show. Everywhere is misunderstanding. We are dealing with the kidnap today of 6 government delegates. That's the reason we are laying emphasis on those who kidnapped them. People should not misconstrue the fact as if we are taking sides. We are judging and dealing with a subject here. The government also has been involved in other kidnaps. Somewhere Wazizi they didn't tell us where they took him to. Until now we don't know. That is called kidnapped on the government's part. So while we are talking on a balance. We are dealing with the case of the 6 government delegates today, and we are condemning kidnap from all angles. So that's the reason we are focusing. There's a lot of confusion. There are individuals also who were not part of this revolution. They were neutral until the military shot members of their family. They also joined the revolution. While there are also persons who were not part of this movement until the Amber touch their family. So the mix-up is almost everywhere. We should not sit as if one side is super perfect, because children were ruthlessly killed in Gabu. It was not the Amba that killed them. So when we are talking about a balance in our judgment, people should not think that we have come here to either condemn the Ambas or trying to talk in favor of the government, because that's the conception most people have in the society. No, we are objective individuals in Cameroon who see red and call it red, and see black and call it black. Now, I want to ask a very sincere question. Why is it that the most protective positions in the North and Southwest are given to other persons? Government delegates are offices that do not have security. And all those 6 government delegates arrested are English, people from the English-speaking extract. And government delegates do not have the security that DOs, SDOs, and governors have. Why will such positions and responsibilities be given to a group of persons who do not have the security needed? Government delegates in most of the areas in the country are kidnapped because they do not have the security that SDOs who are from the other extract of the country and governors are having. Why should a government delegate not have security? That is the problem. So we are talking about a kidnap here. We will say it could be the negligence of the government, because I don't see how they will send troops to protect government officials and citizens of the North and the Southwest. There was a time the governor came out and said that everybody should go out, your care is under the military. How much has the military catered for these people? That's the problem.
The military said.
That's the problem. So when we are talking about dissenting views, there is a lot of mix-up in the whole issue. There are individuals who have been involved into this war, not because they actually wanted to be part of it, the circumstances have pressed them to enter into it. Do you think that if my brother was a government delegate, I would take it lightly with the Amba? I will not. If I was a pro-Amba or a pro-government, anyone that stands out of me, I become your enemy from that day. Do you think the family of the guy who was killed among the government delegates, even if they are Anglophone, they will stand in favor of the Amba movement? No. Everybody knows where he puts on his shoe and the shoe is paying him. When we sit on platforms, we should give objective arguments to balance the errors on both sides and clarify the public. The kidnap stuff we are dealing here today is the kidnap of people of our extracts, even though they are extracted by us. They used to say when a pig gives birth and does not have food to eat, it begins to eat its own piglets. That's what is happening to us. Have you ever heard that a governor or an SDO from those regions have been kidnapped? Because they are heavily armed and protected. Why should the government delegates equally not have security? It is strange to realize that those offices that have no adequate security is given to people from the extract of the English-speaking region, so they can easily be captured. Our problem is that we are telling our brothers and sisters who are in the North and the South that it is not good for us to kill and destroy our people and kidnap them. It's not advisable. You cannot twist me or put words in my mouth. What is done to the families of those who are kidnapped is unacceptable, is condemnable, and we deny it vehemently. It's not acceptable. That is the truth. We are dealing with human lives here. I've asked this question repeatedly. How does the kidnapping of those government delegates facilitate or make you achieve your aim? Because everything, we are bringing a confusion amongst us. There is a divide. Those 6 government delegates are coming from almost 3 to 4 regions. Do you think that sons who come from that origin, who have been kidnapped and killed, those regions, in those divisions, in that particular region where you are fighting, do you know they are at peace with you? When you come for black leg, these are the things that give birth to black leg. Because somebody from that family who lost the brother as a delegate can end up becoming an enemy tomorrow and be a spy. If he knows where people are, he will disclose it. Because why? This is because he has been dragged into the war in anger. We talk about asymmetrical war. There's supposed to be strategic planning. That's the truth. If we are protecting our individuals, we are protecting our individuals to make sure that everybody is protected, no matter who is working where. Do you think that if the government delegate who is arrested there, the junior brother knows where any of you is hiding, he will not report to the military to come and decimate you? That's the problem. So there is no sense in what is being done. There's no sense. We are creating more internal enemies. That's the truth. So we condemn the kidnap. Don't sit behind the tablet of your phone or your computer and you are typing nonsense on Facebook and on social media that this man is saying. We don't speak here to please you. We speak things that direct people's life. Do you think that those families that are in that bush, they are comfortable with you? They will not be comfortable with you. That's the truth.
Okay, that's the truth. Now, can we say that there is need for most of these guys working in these regions, especially government officials, to be given greater security henceforth?
Yeah, Mr. Alio, that's one of the best questions you have asked me so far. I think, first, when I got the news of this kidnap, I talked and thought of the invisible hand behind the kidnap. Because I don't think a delegate in his normal senses at this time will go into Ndian without being protected, to be sincere with you. Just take, for example, where I come from, Fundo. Before the governor goes there, at times he reaches Bello and he gets back to Bamenda. He refortified himself before he goes back. I know what I'm saying. And he's a very honest man. You see, these people, like Apostle Ambe was saying a while ago, that it appears the duos, the ex-duos, who come from the other part of the country are given more security than these little delegates who have been given little or no security, and they just believe in the hope of God and chance. They carry their heads and then they are going to Indian. I am not blaming them because they were going to do their work. But I want to tell them, and those who are watching us, that keep your life first. Because if you are not alive today, you will be replaced. And work will continue. Indian will not change if you are dead. The one who was killed, it has stopped nothing. Work is going on. So, Mr. Leo, these people need maximum security. Even the teachers, because I am a teacher, remember. Every day they are calling that, go back to your place of job. Whereas, when you go there at times, these boys can even, they beat you, they spare to kill because they know that you have nothing to offer. Because you don't have any security. That said, I want to come back to what my brother Mandenge said. I think he got me wrong. I am happy first that Mandenge today used the word appeasement. When I followed him right from 2016, these were his words. Les terroristes doivent être éradiqués. And today, yes, yes. And today I'm happy that he has taken a change. Maybe they thought eradicating Amber was just a bend at the corner, and they met with stiff resistance. And so they are coming back to their senses that it was not a child's play to just go and eradicate them. But where he got me wrong again is that I am calling for settlement with dialogue, while Mandenge is calling for settlement with guns and violence. It is clear. When you repeat that the state has the monopoly of violence, it means you want that they should dialogue while guns are pointing at the heads of people, on the ears and the mouths of people, so that they should talk under the influence of the gun, which is wrong, Monsieur Mandenge.
Nous sommes continuer à assassiner.
Non, Monsieur Mandenge.
Vous faites l'idéologie de la guerre.
Suivez mon regard,
non,
mon frère.
Je suis déjà votre œil, pas votre regard. Vous êtes en train de faire ici dérouler l'idéologie.
Il faut apprendre à écouter. Non, nous ne sommes pas ici sous les gens de plateau que vous volez à n'importe comment. Ici, il y a la culture de parole.
Non, c'est pas une question de culture de parole. C'est une culture de bon sens. Vous devez avoir du bon sens. Chaque fois que vous regardez, mon frère,
il faut avoir la culture d'écouter. Nous ne sommes pas ici là qu'on parle au hasard. Non, c'est pas ça. I am saying that I am calling for settlement with a dialogue, while you are calling for settlement with the guns, which does not work. It is time, and I'm even regretting that the 8 regions of Cameroon are living as though nothing is happening. In a country where we are one and indivisible, as the anthem of your party says, we were supposed to have seen the other 8 regions of Cameroon rise up after the kidnap of these 6 delegates. flood the streets. We want our citizens, if Cameroon, by the CPDM anthem, was actually working, they rise up, they talk, release our people. What is stopping the other 8 regions from even selecting a national day of mourning, flooding Northwest and Southwest, spending their resources, go into this region, fight the Amber Boys? You people have left it into the hands of the Anglophones who are feeling the pains, and you only come here to the platform to talk about protecting the state.
Okay.
What you protect in the state are the people that make up the state, Monsieur Manding. The state is not an empty one. So these people who are kidnapped, Mr. Liu, they need maximum security than ever before.
Now that you want to answer the question.
No, I started by answering the question. That they need the same security that Jews and the governors who are actually doing nothing there. Okay. I don't see what these Jews and the governors are doing there.
They are working. They are representing.
No, they are not.
They are working. They are representing the head of state. They are signing documents. If
on
you
paper.
Okay,
yeah, you have answered my question. They are signing papers. We don't see them on the field. Yes, we don't see them. I've not seen the Southwest governor in India. I have not seen.
No. You are not their bosses. You are not the one who assigned them to tell them where.
If they are there to work for the people, let them go to
They had a meeting recently with the Minister of Territorial Administration, who gave them a roadmap.
You have not had any official statement from the government talking about the kidnap of the 6 people.
Please. Well.
No, it's hard to do with human life, Mr. Liu.
The womb. You are the one who told this Mr. Mandingi that we should be respectful.
Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Liu.
Ok. Monsieur Mandingi, c'est pas facile, hein. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire pour, je sais pas, décrisper la situation, vous la paix?
Non, au vu des événements, je voudrais dire que nous devons avoir ici en priorité un discours de vérité.
Okay.
Lorsque nous parlons du sang qui coule, vous voyez très bien que sans citer ce panéliste sur ce plateau, je pense que ceux qui sont en bourse, s'ils avaient 5 âmes, demain matin ils vont chercher à en avoir 10. Parce qu'ils ont un fan club qui ne lésine sur rien pour leur apporter son soutien constant. Vous ne pouvez pas parler de cesser le feu lorsque vous avez une faction en face qui ne détermine son dialogue que par la terreur. Nous avons fait dans ce pays des assises durant une semaine à Yaoundé que le chef de l'État a voulu, à travers le grand dialogue national, où tout le monde était convié. Beaucoup y ont fait la chaise vide et ont estimé que l'État devait marcher à son rythme. Moi, au niveau du dialogue, au niveau du discours que nous devons tenir, moi je n'ai pas un discours de cesser le feu, contrairement à M. Diwoum qui en réalité nous crée un discours déguisé d'une continuité de la guérilla. Moi j'ai un discours de dépôt des armes. Pourquoi depuis près d'une heure sur ce plateau, M. Diwoum n'a pas invité les ambazoniens, ceux qui se réclament ambazoniens, à baisser les armes? Ils doivent déposer les armes. Sauf si vous voulez nous amener dans une situation d'anarchie institutionnelle où l'État du Cameroun doit être sur la base de schémas que certains ont vu un peu à côté, doivent être mis entre guillemets dos au mur en parlant de dictatorial régime. Est-ce que les ambazoniens vous ont dit que ils sont en train de décapiter les gens parce que M. Biya serait un dictateur? Non. Ils vous ont dit que eux, c'est la sécession. Ils ont un cahier de charges. Ils ont des personnes qui les soutiennent. Ils ont une économie de guerre qu'ils ont mise en place à travers les kidnappings, les incendies des immeubles bâtis. Ils ont toute une économie de guerre qu'ils ont mise en place. Donc lorsqu'on est face à ce type de personnes, nous devons avoir un discours de vérité. Lorsque je parle du discours de vérité, M. Diwoum nous a parlé ici, lorsqu'on vient sur ce type de plateau, on ne parle pas d'anglophone. M. Diwoum, ma grand-mère Bakweri de Batoké, je ne sais pas si vous connaissez Batoké. Ma grand-mère, elle est de Batoké. Je ne m'identifie pas au débat caduc et vide que vous faites entre francophones et anglophones. Je m'identifie comme un Camerounais. Et parce que je m'identifie comme un Camerounais, je ne peux pas chercher à cataloguer. J'ai dans ma famille mes enfants, je dis les enfants, les nièces et les neveux, qui sont dans des écoles entre guillemets d'expression anglaise. Est-ce que vous allez leur donner une étiquette
Qu'est-ce que vous appelez anglophone? Qu'est-ce que vous appelez francophone? Nous sommes des Camerounais, un jeune État. Nous devons bâtir notre État. Lorsque les ambazoniens, M. Léonard, ont entrepris sur eux une campagne internationale de promotion de leur activité, jusqu'aujourd'hui, personne sur ce plateau ne va me dire l'organisation ou le pays qui a reconnu ADF ou Ambazonia Council, tout ce que vous voulez vous appeler. La Grande-Bretagne leur a dit, rentrez au Cameroun. Nous n'avons pas qualité à discuter de ces questions. Le Congrès américain leur a dit, nous n'avons pas qualité à discuter de ces questions. L'Union européenne s'est déclarée inapte. Personne sur le plan international n'a reconnu ce mouvement. Mais jusque-là, vous voyez, certains prennent la parole ici, ils ne disent pas les concessions que l'État du Cameroun a mis en place. C'est-à-dire qu'on a dit, ok, vous avez commis ces atrocités, on vous pardonne. Mais attention, M. Léonard, le processus du pardon est un processus plus long. Ce n'est pas un processus de M. Biya. C'est que localement, il y a des familles qui vous ont vu tuer les leurs. Et ils vous voient dans un centre de DDR. Parce que l'État a consenti à vous pardonner. Pour le tort que vous avez créé. Ce n'est pas l'armée, entre guillemets, de M. Biya qui allait attaquer. Le 22 septembre, Sisikou Ayuk Tabe a dit, depuis Abuja, que plus de policiers tués, plus de militaires tués, vous aurez plus de primes. C'était une déclaration de guerre. Le 3 octobre, au perron de l'aéroport de Simalène, le chef de l'État, chef des armées, qui est garant constitutionnellement de l'intégrité territoriale de ce pays, a pris ses responsabilités. Quand vous prenez une arme, que vous soyez Camerounais, que vous soyez Mandingue, que vous soyez Valatengwa, quand votre arme tue, vous êtes face à vos responsabilités. Et la dérision qu'on a fait de ce problème, en voulant le maquiller, le déguiser en problème politique, moi je me serais attendu que en 2018, qu'il y ait une voix politique forte qui porte ce problème d'une autre façon. Mais nous n'avons pas eu cela. Pire, lorsque j'entends des déclarations ici, monsieur Ndioum ne le sait peut-être pas, les activités professionnelles que je mène m'amènent à être constamment beaucoup plus au sud-ouest qu'au nord-ouest. Mais bon Dieu, monsieur Léonard, lorsque vous êtes face à un travailleur de la CDC à Tico qui a un bras coupé, c'est-à-dire que c'est ce bras-là qui lui permet de nourrir sa famille. Lorsque des gens arrivent avec une haine aveugle à 1h du matin, parce que les actions que vous voyez là, ce ne sont pas des actions de plus de 15 minutes. Certains parlent ici comme si quand les soi-disant ambazoniens arrivent, ils se mettent, ils disent, nous sommes en train d'arriver, on va vous combattre. C'est des actions éclairs de 10-15 minutes. Parce qu'ils profitent de l'effet de surprise. C'est ça le principe de la guerre asymétrique. Donc je pense qu'au-delà du discours de vérité, je suis d'accord avec l'aîné sur ce plateau qui a parlé de la sécurisation. Nous devons aujourd'hui aussi avoir des réorientations au niveau des sites sensibles ou des personnalités sensibles qui sont devenues la source d'enrichissement, de propagande et de surenchère terroriste. C'est de ça. Gardez ces 5 délégués jusqu'à présent en captivité sans que leurs familles ne sachent où ils sont. C'est quoi en réalité? C'est une monnaie de chantage sur la table. Ok, on a décapité un, on va décapiter les autres. C'est quel État que nous sommes en train de bâtir? C'est un État où, monsieur Léonard, parce que vous sortez là, puisqu'il y a beaucoup de jalousie dans cette histoire, vous sortez là, quelqu'un vous attrape, il vous décapite parce que vous avez un travail, lui il est au chômage. Et il a le droit, il aurait le droit parce que vraiment, il est dans tous ces États. Non. Non et non. Je pense que jusqu'à présent, nous pouvons dire la même chose avec des thèmes différents. Tout ce que nous voulons ici, c'est que la paix revienne. Okay. Mais la paix ne peut pas revenir à n'importe quel prix. Parce que nous devons tous faire les sacrifices, chacun à sa place, et faire attention aux éléments de langage et aux positions que nous avons. Nous avons des positions qui peuvent radicaliser les uns, nous avons des positions qui peuvent apaiser. Et moi, de ce que j'ai vu dans des endroits où j'ai voyagé, M. Dioum, je peux vous dire que la tendance aujourd'hui est que les populations veulent revivre leur vie d'avant 2016. Parce que ce n'est pas un mouvement spontané des populations, c'est un mouvement coordonné depuis l'étranger par quelques personnes qui ont et qui financent. Et c'est pourquoi je dis, faisons tout un plaidoyer diplomatique.
Let's get the reaction of Sama. Mr. Sama, who is going to be coming in from Boya, also express his thoughts on what we are discussing out here.
Good evening, Leo, and good evening to the other panelists with you on the set. Thank you for having me once more on your program to deliberate on the issue of the offense of the 6 regional divisional delegates from Ndian Division who were kidnapped or arrested. We bow our heads in honor of the one whose death has been announced and confirmed. It's an unfortunate situation in which we find ourselves. But Leo, your question as to what was their offense pushes me to also ask these other questions. What was the offense of Mbab Padisco, the nurse and the wife who were killed by military in Bengui? What was the offense of the infant who was shot allegedly by a military bullet in Moyoka? What was the offense of the 79-year-old grandmother who was burnt in her house in Kwakwa? What was the offense of the teachers of Fetkol Mutengene whose fingers were chopped off by Amber Boys? Leo, what was the offense of the tens of CDC workers who were attacked and their fingers cut off by Amber Boys? What was the offense of the 14 family members who were shot to death by the military in Tiben in Batigo in 2018? What was the offense of Florence Tumasang, whose butchery was videoed and publicized virally by Amber Boys in Moyoka? What was the offense of the penitentiary worker who was slaughtered and her naked body desecrated in Pinyin? Leo, what was the offense of the teacher of GBHS Nitop who was killed in Bamenda? What was the offense of the tens of others who have been killed? So Leo, it's quite difficult for us to lay the blame or to determine the offense of one or more or others. It is just a matter of victims. We are talking about victims of a war who find themselves in a situation they didn't bargain for. It is either because you are at the wrong place at the right time, or you meet the wrong person, or you have the wrong hairdo on, or you have the wrong dress, or you meet somebody in a wrong state of mind. And so you find that we are talking about people who are mere victims of a situation and whose offense you cannot determine because they have not committed any offense or their offense is undeterminable. You are also talking about people, because we find ourselves in a war situation, people who are just collateral damages, collateral casualties. Leo, permit me again ask you, what was the offense of the G of Batibo? What was the offense of the regional delegate for social affairs of the Northwest, whose corpses till date have never been seen because they were kidnapped by Ambas? They were simply at the wrong place at the wrong time, and they were met by the wrong persons, or a wrong judgment was made on them. Leo, we are talking about a war situation where you don't need to be guilty, or you don't need to be criminally guilty for you to be a victim. Somebody takes you as a bargain chip, you are arrested or you are kidnapped and you are used as a bargain chip by one or the other of the belligerents. And that is the price you have to pay. Asking what crime they committed or what offense they committed is an exercise in futility, because you will not be able to determine that. In a war situation, you don't need to be an offender. You don't need to be a criminal to be a victim. They are victims of war, collateral damages, or those who are actively involved. It takes just 1 second for somebody to determine by his own standards of judgment your degree of criminality or your offense, for him to snuff life out of you, be it on the side of the military or on the side of the Amber Boys. Now we are talking about the divisional delegates of Ndian. We pray that the safety is restored. Leo, tomorrow you may be announcing that of Sama Bangmugwa, or we may be talking about you. I know how many times you have been threatened and targeted. And so you don't necessarily need to have committed an offense for you to be kidnapped or arrested or killed. Permit me ask you, what was the offense of Atia Tilarus when he was arrested and whisked away from Buea to Yaoundé and kept in jail for months? What was the offense of Pen Terence and even Mancho, BBC, who are still in jail now? It is by the standards of the same belligerents who determine whether you have offended them or not, depending on their level of criminal justice.
Okay, Sama Bang there coming in from Buea. Professor Mark Anthony, very difficult situation, calling for urgent steps to be taken for an end to the ongoing crisis, because as we speak today, tomorrow, we may be getting more disturbing news.
That's very true, Leo. As we are talking right now, we do not even know what is happening out there. And it is actually unfortunate that everywhere seems to be silent, considering that no real actions are taken. Too much talking is done. And when I say no reactions, because my brother asks here that we are not actually mentioning some of the issues that the government has been able to do. Yes, the government has extended a hand for the Amber Boys to lay down their arms and come to the DDR, where some of them will come and sit, and after they start complaining that they are not being fed. You see, that is not what I think should be done right now to solve this problem. On several occasions, I've pointed out that Cameroon, which we find ourselves in right now, is the only place that we can call home. And the only thing to do in order to make it home is to fix it and let it be good for us to stay in. And if we have to do that, then we must learn to get to a place where we do not only learn tolerance, but we also should not forget that we are humans. We are not animals, we are humans. And being a human being means that you have a heart for one another. But it is shocking and actually disturbing, Mr. Leo, considering that for 4 years, I think we're in the 5th year, people have fallen. I'm not talking of, I said people have fallen in their thousands. We have civilians who have died. We have the military who have died. We have the Amber Boys who have died. This number of persons, if there was peace in Cameroon, would have been carrying Cameroon to somewhere better. Worst of it, our government is practically crawling on its knees to maintain this country on its feet, because as we are talking, the economic situation of this country is actually disturbing. It is better to sit on a discussion table, on a negotiation table, or whatsoever table you want to sit on, to deal with a problem, than to use arms, which is very expensive to maintain. We are talking today, this war has swallowed billions. I mean billions, which is money that was supposed to be used in actually bringing this country to a state which Cameroonians should love. And I believe there are some people who love the circumstances in which we find ourselves in so that they can make more money out of it. We keep talking about merchants of war. Indeed, there are merchants of war who are making sure that this war should not end, so that they can keep growing fat and stealing people's money. The money that was meant for the construction of the country. I remember of recent when they talk about the reconstruction of the Northwest and Southwest, and months after, I heard over 3 billion has been used for the reconstruction of Northwest and Southwest, when there is still war. I got disturbed and I asked the question, is this the way we are going to solve our problems in Cameroon? By always looking for every means possible to siphon money into our accounts. That is terrible.
Okay.
But what makes it worse, Mr. Liu, is that Cameroonians forget to know that even if we fight and die, Cameroon will still remain, but us who are fighting will go. So, rather than keep wasting time and money and energy and human resources, the dialogue table is the only place that this thing should be dealt with, and not arms. There's nowhere where a government has won a battle against its people, nor should any individual persistently fight knowing very well that they cannot sponsor a war and keep on with it while actually preying on its own people. It is wrong, and we will condemn it and ask that let this thing be solved on a dialogue table.
Okay, good evening, gentlemen. Permit me draw your attention to the fact that when amnesty is declared on fighters, it's another way of calling for an end of the war. Sir, the president should not be they want to stop disorder in your village. Rather, villagers should cooperate with the men in uniform to bring order in your village. Amber only exists in localities where they are protected by the population. No military in the world will ever drop its guns when rebels still have theirs. Most people from the Southwest and Northwest regions are hypocrites. How can someone sit on TV panel to blame the head of state for the kidnap of Anglophones? Oh God, who punish? Okay, this one says, please tell the person that he shouldn't say what he does not know. Anglophones are killing Anglophones. What does he want other 8 regions to do when the same Amber boys have chased people of the other regions in most parts of these 2 regions? Please, if you don't know the job of the TU, STU, or governors, ask rather than saying what you are saying. Afua Valentine said, Mr. Leo, good evening to you and all the panelists. Nice topic, but very pathetic. But I'm sorry because it seems as if our own military captains cannot copy what American soldiers do. That in any war fronts, if they lose any 3 of their men, they stop and retreat and think, and if possible, go to the table, not hear that like, okay. Good evening to you, Alpha Valentine. Mr. Liu, good evening. The kidnapping will not stop because the English people who are working in this government know what to do. KV is writing from Limbe. But now, the divisional delegates are in captivity. The government has not made an official statement on what is happening. But also, we are not seeing a strong mobilization force from the civil society asking for their release. We've heard also very little from the church asking for their release, even with the decapitation of one of them who were taken. How do we understand the silence, except for the press that actually spoke about this?
Mr. Liu.
Is it that the people are tired already with the kidnaps, daily kidnap?
You see, there is no need wasting energy on people who hardly listen to you.
Okay.
I am sure initially when this crisis started, civil societies have been speaking, the church has been speaking, the masses have been speaking, women have marched, sat on the streets, carry peace plans, cry that there should be peace. Everybody from the reaction you see right now is fed up, because the 2 opposite camps in question are stubborn to the core that they do not want to listen to anybody at all. So sometimes we even come to television to speak because we love this country. The ideas we have poured forth on this platform and other TV platforms in this country, if these two camps actually were listening to people who come on panels to discuss, I am sure they would have found lasting solutions. Because we have given references to many other countries who have had asymmetrical wars like this, but unfortunately they could not even copy from what has happened in other countries. How do you explain that peace is more expensive than war? As I talk to you now, from every ramification, it shows that peace is more expensive than war. The amount of money spent per day for this war cannot be compared to 24 hours on a table to settle the crisis. Peace, we have come to realize, is more expensive than war. The people of the North and the Southwest, civil societies, Cameroonians are frustrated. And if we are left to make a decision, all of us will sit quiet and let them kill themselves. There is a time that people will fight and you will talk and talk and talk. When they don't listen, allow them to kill themselves and die.
Yeah, but we can't also allow, because we are talking about civilians.
Mr.
Yes, we are talking about civilians here.
I'm answering your question. You are asking why the civil society, the church, and the masses have kept quiet.
Yes.
They are frustrated. They are frustrated with the stubbornness of these two parties in question. They are disappointed with the immaturity and the poor management of the crisis by the two persons in question. We Cameroonians are disappointed and frustrated with the Amba and the government, because they have proven to be very, very stubborn not to come to a place to settle this crisis for once and for all. We are disappointed. I'm telling you. If you are asking that where is the church has spoken. Pastors have been killed. Fathers have been killed because they rose up to speak. The moderator, the bishops have been intimidated. Arrested because they rose up to speak. How do you think that we will rise up and then keep speaking and speaking? People are eliminated. You stand to talk, they arrest you, they kill you, and all this nonsense. Yeah, you see here, there is a communication we call silent communication. You are not talking, but you are talking. The masses of this nation, not just Northwest and Southwest, they are tired. What we are doing now on television is that we are giving the last kicks of a dying horse. This is the last kick of a dying horse as we sit here talking, because inside us we have two adamant, rigid, unbending, hard-hearted, stone-hearted individuals who have vowed. Can you explain that? We are getting them more arms. More arms are coming to the country.
A military man selling arms to Amba boys.
That's the thing. So it's an industry that people are suffering. If you go to how do you I want to ask, how important is one Cameroonian to the other? How?
No, but
according to constitution, every citizen of this country has equal rights. Then a government delegate will be working without any sangalong behind him, not even a gun in his pocket, while a DO has a battalion, a regiment of bees around his compound. How important is that DO more than the delegates who are arrested? What value is given to one life more than the other? That's the problem we have here. So when you see the masses are quiet, church is quiet. Church, thank you, quiet. Civil society, thank you for being quiet, because you are frustrated. We all also are frustrated in Cameroon. They have decided to let them eat themselves and become carnivores. We are tired. That's the truth. I'm speaking on behalf of the civil society, on behalf of the church and the masses. If you go and ask any person in this country, people are disappointed. We cannot be singing songs every day, every night on different TV platforms. Mothers march in the streets. Northern and Southwest Women Task Force enter the streets. Parents cry. Children are killed in Kumba. We cry. They die in Gabu. We put on social media. We are crying, calling all these parties. United Nations come here, and Francophonie come here. AU come here. You people are not. You want to listen to? Go and listen to evil spirits. You should listen to evil spirits.
Yes, very, very disturbing moments for the nation. How do we curb this phenomenon of kidnappings? Because what we are talking about, the situation of these 6 divisional delegates of Ndian, but on a daily basis. In the villages, in the towns of the Southwest and Northwest regions, people are suffering. They are paying heavy ransoms, because either a parent, a this and that is kidnapped.
Yeah, Mr. Leo, it is even more of what we are saying on there is more that could be said, that we are not even saying on the platform. But to answer your question squarely, I'll be a very big liar to tell you that stopping the kidnappings is as easy as we can say with our mouth. But how I wish it could stop. But like I said from the beginning, we have only one person who can stand up in this country and say, look, hey, all of us are Cameroonians. Let's get to the table. Let's drop our guns. And that is President Paul Biya. You know, sometimes we read some messages there, it makes me laugh. Now, data is so cheap. Just 100 francs somebody can activate and sell his stupidity on Facebook. When you ask a question that what are the other 8 regions supposed to be doing, I think take the number, you call the person to come here also talk. Such a person has activated 100 francs to sell a very large stupidity. If you are telling me that Cameroon is one and indivisible, and the 2 regions are sick, and you want that the other regions should go well, Mr. Leo, if the whole Cameroon stands up this night and they say stop to this rubbish, it will stop. And another thing again has been wrong politics. I am very convinced that if wrong politics ceases at this moment that we are talking, by 5 a.m. in the dawn, there will be peace in Cameroon. Because like Professor Mark said a while ago, this thing has been highly promoted by unscrupulous politicians whose invisible hands are fetching them more wealth than what we are seeing with our naked eyes. So it is true that the problem started squarely from a political standpoint, but where we are now, we need to be doing everything possible to bring peace, and that includes seeking the face of God, and that includes telling our leaders the truth. The truth is that our leaders started it wrongly. The military option was not the best option. You know, leadership is not all about a heavy hammer. If it was all about a heavy hammer, even with your wife in the house, you will never cope. So I think the hammer side of the story should be revisited, and then we looked at the soft point. Let's all agree the government failed. Amber is failing woefully. The 2 parties have failed. Because of the 2-party failure, should all Cameroonians be killed and paying a price for 2 unhealthy people who have refused to thought or to have a thought of the Cameroonian life? Because this government we are having in life in Cameroon, they are not actually at the service of Cameroonians. Okay. They are at the disservice of the Cameroonians. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. Love your program and watching from Kenya, Nairobi. Mr. Liu, kindly be inviting competent and well-informed men like Apostle Lambe on your TV program in Cameroon. There are people who should never, ever pass on TV. Again, Umaru, okay, this one says, Apostle is a competent and knowledgeable to participate on any TV program, and I wish to meet him one day. Greetings, Apostle, and we love you. Okay, yeah, if you want to meet him, you can ask for his number. I don't know where you are Cameroonian, but you're writing from out there. Good evening. Tanui from Bomenda, please permit me, Mr. Leo, to say this. Your excellent program may become a very unattractive if you continue to bringing in people with hate speech. Okay. Okay. Yes. I don't know who is using hate speech on this platform. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Ask some people to know the way they talk on TV. Eyong is writing from Kumba. Abdullahi writing from Gaundari say congratulations to you for telling the truth. Okay. Emmanuel from Bomenda says, good evening again, Mr. Leo. This is an issue we should stop defending the government the way some people are trying to do. Emmanuel from Bomenda. Monsieur Valérie Mandengue, beaucoup de gens sont en captivité. I'm not sure only the 6 divisional delegates should be in captivity. Yes, I'm sure there are many more persons. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire pour arrêter ce fléau? Est-ce qu'il faut aussi changer la donne pour, je ne sais pas, comment apporter l'apaisement dans les 2 régions?
Écoutez, tout ce que nous pouvons dire ici, Monsieur Léonard, du haut de nos titres et rangs, nous ne pouvons que donner des esquisses de solutions, des esquisses de sortie de crise. Mais il appartient à ceux qui tirent les maillons de pouvoir en prendre de la bonne graine. Vous avez vu, lorsque vous avez commencé à lire les premiers passages des retours des spectateurs, il y a un qui a particulièrement retenu mon attention. Il a dit, en réalité, je pense que nous les anglophones, nous sommes hypocrites. Quand on parle ici de discours de vérité, les Camerounais sont en train de nous suivre. Il faut tenir un discours de vérité. Et vous avez vu qu'ils ont très vite rebondi sur la question du silence de certaines organisations depuis que ces phénomènes se passent. Je ne sais pas si c'est un clin d'œil du destin ou du temps. Il y a un député de Vouri 1 ici, à Douala, qui a fait une sortie pour demander l'extradition de ceux qui financent ces terrorismes. C'est un début de solution, c'est-à-dire sur le plan diplomatique, d'activer ces leviers-là. Et vous avez immédiatement vu dans son parti, et ce député est originaire du Dian. C'est-à-dire que dans sa sortie, il dit que ses enfants dans le Dian ne vont plus à l'école. Les entreprises sont quasiment fermées dans le Dian du fait des activités des Amba. Et pour lui qui est du Dian, il veut travailler à ce que la paix revienne. La paix ne peut pas revenir si vous avez des factions extrémistes. Et lui, il a fait une sortie en tant que parlementaire, en tant que député de la nation, car le Parlement défend la nation, de dire extradez-nous cela. Peut-être ici, on pourra avoir de bonnes clauses de dialogue, puisqu'ils n'auront plus certains leviers entre les mains. Dans son même parti, M. Léonard, un autre député qui s'affiche avec les Amazoniens au quotidien est sorti pour dire jamais, il faut qu'il soit exclu du SDF. Vous comprenez donc que lorsque vous parlez de silence,
vous parlez de aussi et Nietzsche.
Vous avez suivi très bien mon regard. Je vous ai pris cet échantillon pour vous montrer que lorsqu'on parle des effets à l'extérieur, sachez que nous avons des effets dominos intérieurs qui participent au pourrissement de cette situation. Tout à l'heure, je vous ai pris cet échantillon, je vais vous en prendre un autre. Et il vous souvient qu'en 2018, nous avons eu 2 images, je vous prends à témoin, vous qui êtes un journaliste d'investigation, où on avait d'un côté Akumba, un prêtre qui priait pour le retour à la paix, et de l'autre côté Akumbo, nous avons vu un prêtre qui bénissait les Amazoniens. Donc vous comprenez très bien que il y a des interactions internes qui sont toujours de nature.
Dieu lui-même est confus.
Donc qui sont effectivement, c'est-à-dire que quand vous parlez du silence, comprenez très bien d'où vient le silence, parce que cette activité de terrorisme qui s'est mise en place, avec l'économie de terrorisme qui s'est mise en place, eh bien non seulement c'est certain sur le plan politique, il y a des leaders politiques qui ne connaissent pas la route, qui traversent le Mungo pour aller au sud-ouest, mais qui sont devenus subitement plus amoureux des anglophones que les anglophones eux-mêmes. Si on peut appeler, moi j'appelle les Camerounais d'expression anglaise. Ce terme anglophone me pose toujours un problème. Ça c'est mon éducation, ça me pose problème.
Qu'est-ce qu'on fait?
Ce qu'on peut faire aujourd'hui, à travers le discours de vérité, je vous ai gardé une autre image, monsieur Koum. Vous vous souvenez, lors des attentats de Paris, au Bataclan, il y avait une image qui avait circulé le lendemain. Et c'est pourquoi je voudrais dire à mon aîné ici sur le plateau que continuons à cultiver le discours de la paix et de la vérité. Nous avons vu François Hollande, avec tous les chefs politiques de sa majorité présidentielle, de l'opposition, de la société civile, main dans la main pour dire non au terrorisme. C'est ça un discours. C'est-à-dire que nous devons unanimement condamner. Quand on va unanimement condamner, même ceux qui sont les plus extrémistes dans ces cas-là vont dire, hey, attends, il y a un problème. Si tout le monde nous voit déjà d'une façon, ressaisissons-nous. Mais chaque fois qu'on aura ce discours équilibriste, on ne pourra pas y arriver. Et je vais chuter par là. Vous avez très bien vu que des États plus développés que les nôtres ont fait face à l'indépendantisme. Vous avez vu ce qui s'est passé en Espagne. Vous avez vu que ça a été unanime. Tout le monde a bloqué. Et cette activité n'est pas allée plus loin. Donc, j'invite tous les Camerounais qui nous suivent, pour répondre à votre question de façon intégrale, à œuvrer pour ce discours de rappel à la paix, mais surtout de mettre chacun face à ses responsabilités. Nous ne pouvons plus, monsieur Léonard, nous ne pouvons plus ouvrir nos téléphones et voir des Camerounais avec des têtes décapitées.
Ça, c'est de l'horreur. Je dis même Boko Haram, même l'État islamique, qu'on dit que c'est une organisation terroriste, n'a jamais produit ce type d'image d'horreur et d'atrocité pour semer la terreur.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Liu. Please advise your panelists not to justify kidnappings. Kidnapping people in the name of independence is dullness. I'm John, writing from Germany. Good evening to you, John. Hello, please. I'm watching from Kigali. Apostle Lambe is a right Cameroonian. We all are tired. Let them do their worst. How on earth can some people contributing money to buy ammunition to kill humans same people that cannot buy pen to empower a child? A wicked war. Okay, this person is writing from Kigali. The other person wrote from Nairobi. Yes, many persons are taking interest in this, but almost like he said, you said almost everybody is tired. We are fed up.
You people are tired. Not only tired, people are. We have gotten to a place where Cameroonians are practically just begging for the possibility to return to peace. We might end up with less than Cameroon, considering the fact that it is already burning. And I say burning, you look at the way things are going in Cameroon, you feel disappointed. In every corner, things are getting worse. You know, even before we started this issue of war, at least people could manage and have food and eat. They could go behind their houses and cultivate something and eat. But now they don't have that opportunity. Now like this, you go to the market, the same rice that you could buy has become another thing. We are living in a situation where I don't know. So I don't want to go detailing in talking about that, because if you have to look at the economic situation of Cameroon, you will cry. And I pray and I believe that those who are listening to us, they have a means to deal with this war, Mr. Liu. We have always asked that let there be a peaceful resolution of this issue without arms, because arms had never solved a problem. We'll still keep on repeating it. Arms do not solve a problem. And to pick up a point where my brother Mandenge posted there, you see, as a clergy, the clergy does not have a side it supports. A clergy is a person that has been released by God for the people. So when you see a clergy pray for a people, like for example, if you remember very well, maybe you do not know the entire issue concerning that issue in Kumbu, where they came and the Amba boy just entered the church and had to put the priest on a fright. Pray for us. If you are the one, you have to pray. And so he prayed. And so in that case, I would not expect that we should look at it like maybe he was supporting the Amba or whatever. He was just doing a job that he should do, even though at times, like you asked, that esprit, he was in fear. So, so I want to say that in that case, Mr. Leo, civil society,
they're helpless.
All they can do is talk. The civil society has done much to give proposals, and that's all. Like my brother said here, the only thing we can do is to give proposals.
Okay.
And with those proposals, I think that might be one day they could sit down and say, okay, at least let us look into one of these things that they have said. Even though we are tired, but we have to still keep on talking.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm tired of all of what is happening in this country. Please help me with Reverend Ambe's WhatsApp number. This country should be put up for sale. Becky is writing from Isokolo in Limbe. Becky, don't lose hope. You have to pray. Good evening, Mr. Liu. You see, sir, at times if a father found out that he was wrong to his sons or her daughter, and he finds himself naive or too big to apologize because he's their father, there will never be peace. People were protesting. Okay, Abdullahi is writing from Gaundiri. Good evening to you, Abdullahi. Good evening, Mr. Liu. What was the scene of a young lady with pregnancy of 6 months that was shot in Bamenda. Soli Kongso is writing from Bamenda. Hi, good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Tamika Alex, please. Okay. So I'm from Bambalang. It should allow judgment. Okay. I don't know whether you mean that judgment is of God. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Apostle Ambe is very right. Everyone is tired and frustrated. Let the government and the separatists do whatever they think they can bring back peace in the country. Daniel Luis is writing from Bamenda. Almighty God, intercede for us. Amen. I say a big amen to you. Want God to intercede. Apostle Ambe, Valentine Ngwa, we are not going to discuss our second topic. We may have to discuss it tomorrow because we are out of time. But you say people are tired.
Very.
Yes, but how do we understand that on both sides, the first thing that is put as a justification is the interest of the people, but the people
are not protected?
Yes.
The government claims it's protecting the citizens, yet break the stores of the citizens and carry their food and eat. The Amba claims they are protecting their people, yet kidnap the same people. Who is protecting who? That is the problem. Who is protecting who? The Amba claim they are protecting the people, yet they will flog you for saying anything against them.
Cut their fingers.
Yes, cut their fingers. And the same government that claims protecting the people also carry their own activities. Now, we are just confused because I see like these individuals in question are so much interested in what they gain out of this whole war than what the nation can benefit out of it. My problem is, when did peace become more expensive than war? 24 hours on a table will not cost the amount of money invested by both parties. In the war, the amount of billions going into this war from both sides has proven to us that war is cheaper and peace is more expensive. Because it is so amazing that we are going for a bargain in a market. We don't go for what is cheap, we go for what is more expensive. Keeping all the military in the northwest, feeding them, fueling their cars, carrying them from here and there, and they are also war premiums. They pay for this number of persons that stay in those regions. Then the amount of AK-47 we keep seeing on social media coming through the camp of the Amber, those are billions of CFA invested in taking human lives. While 24 hours on a round table, even if the failed national dialogue organized in Yaoundé did not even have the amount of money that have been invested in this war. Why are we trying to prove to the world that what is bad is cheaper than what is good? Let us reason and come back to our senses. We have two pros on ground. There is a cheaper one which is beneficial, and there is an expensive one that is destructive. For you to take money and buy an expensive destructive material while you leave the cheaper constructive material, shows that something is wrong upstairs. I have said it here. It's only idiots that show their prowess with weapons. Real men show their prowess with their brain. These two individuals in question should prove that they have brains, not weapons on ground. If the value for weapon becomes more stronger than the value of the mind, it shows that something is wrong with the human race. Let us get out of all this quagmire, get out of this pandemonium, because if you post, there are children who have become enemies in families. Parents have tried their best, call uncles, call villagers to solve the problem. There was no problem, there was no solution. They abandon the children to themselves until they come to their senses. There's this Ivorian who sang that there was a football match that every player played the penalty, and then the goalkeeper played the penalty. They called the chef de village came and kicked the penalty, and the whole community kicked the penalty. The match could not end. They should continue playing the match because we are frustrated. So if you see the church being quiet, civil society quiet, witches, even witches and wizards are now quiet because they are tired.
Okay. Yeah, that Mr. Liu and panelists, may the Almighty God richly bless you all. Ndi Lawrence Ngong, Trade Union President for Mezam, that's in Bamenda. Good evening. Who is refusing real dialogue, and is there true democracy in Cameroon? Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The person who claims that Apostle Ambe is not supposed to be invited is a terrorist threat from Bamenda. No. He says that Apostle Ambe should be invited in all TV programs. He did not say that he should not be invited. Please. Who is refusing real dialogue? Okay. Prophet Bengi writing there, my Media Prime TV, it is time for all the supporters. Okay. We are we are out of time and we have to end here. Just one last word for you, and the three of you, 1 minute, please.
Well, in a football match, we have the coach, we have the captain, we have the players and the spectators. When the coach draws the lineup, the coach is supposed to be by the field, watching the players. If the players are not playing well, you tell the players. But in our case, the coach seems to have drawn the lineup and he has gone into the hiding. That is why everything is going wrong. So before I give you the microphone, there is a mama in the Norway who watches my Media Prime every day, Mr. Liu, Madam Chodosian Sang, who says I should give her rich and warm blessings to you.
Okay.
So she's very elated. She knows the name Kum Liu as it is spelled, because every evening she's on the TV.
Okay.
So Mama, good evening.
Okay.
Thank you for the blessings.
Okay, Mama will receive your blessings, and thank you too to everybody who is wishing us well. Merci aussi à toi, Valérie. Un dernier mot, pas long, hein?
Oui. On ne peut plus être long parce que je pense que nous avons suffisamment fait le tour de la question. La seule indication qui reste ici pour moi, c'est de continuer à demander à ces populations qui sont courageuses, parce que vivre dans cet état d'esprit, c'est déjà très difficile. Pour nous qui sommes ici à Douala, nous les voyons ici au quotidien et comprennent que nous sommes une seule et même nation. Parce qu'à une époque, on leur avait dit que du côté où ils étaient, c'était le paradis, de notre côté, c'était l'enfer. Mais c'est plutôt ici qu'ils sont venus découvrir que nous avons tous une même nation, nous avons tous les mêmes larmes. Donc je demande à ces populations, parce que nous pouvons faire tous les types de débats que nous faisons. Si nous avons des zones pacifiées aujourd'hui, c'est parce que les populations ont concouru à la recherche de cette paix. Cette paix, elle est permanente, elle est globale et elle est continuelle. Donc ces populations doivent continuer non seulement à vaquer à leurs occupations, mais aider l'État du Cameroun à ramener la paix. Parce que ce n'est pas la question d'une personne, c'est une question qui nous concerne tous. Donc aux populations du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest durement impactées, qui ont vu leur train de vie être décimé depuis près de 4 ans. Courage, courage. La nation reste toujours vaillante.
Okay, Madam Sali, we're glad to know that you're watching the program. She's a coordinator of the Southwest Northwest Women Task Force. She says, thank you, Sir Liu. The situation now needs us all to take responsibility and commit to resolving the conflict. All factions fight for self, not the people. We are also glad to have had you.
Thank you, Sir Liu. And I think that she just said what I had in mind to conclude with. I think that it is the responsibility of each Cameroonian to rise to the occasion, considering the fact that we have seen already that those whom we thought were out to protect us are actually not for us. For the fact that we have experienced a lot of deaths coming from both sides, I think it is time for all Cameroonians of good faith to rise up and protect ourselves by talking, by giving all we could in response to this situation. Thank you for watching us, and we believe that tomorrow is another day and we should keep on with My Media Prime.
Good evening. My name is Yamos. I'm watching from Ghana. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu. What Apostle Ambe said about the people being tired is correct, and the government is also stubborn. Sony, it's Bobo. Bobo is writing from Germany. We are glad to have had this program by the grace of God. Thank you to you, Emmanuel Ndium, and also to you, Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngoa, Valérie Mandenge, merci d'être passé par ici. And also to you, Professor Mark Anthony, we want to thank the production team, Desmond and Christian, and those working at the broadcasting. Also to you, Tabit and Brian, supervising the work we are doing out here. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Embrace HIPMAT. Embrace its academic and professional reputation that has trained over 15,000 professionals in 10 years. Embrace HIPMAT's numerous professional programs from HND to BTech, BSc, and MBA in the schools of Business and Management Sciences, Engineering and Technology, and the School of Transport and Logistics. Embrace HIPMAT's professionalism, excellence, and consistency with solid mentorship from the University of Bamenda and the University of Boya. Embrace HIPMAT's skills, development, expertise, and career orientation via workshops and academic field trips. Be part of the HIPMAT family. Visit our Boya campus at Checkpoint Moliko and Douala campus at Carrefour Yoro, Jos, Monamusade. Contact 683-70-1720. The Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, the University Institute for Professionals.